My name could be Job, but to be honest, it looks a lot like yours. There was a season in my life when everything finally seemed to fit. Work was flowing, money was coming in, my family was protected, and my health was in check. I looked ahead and thought, now it's happening. Now life has really taken off. I made plans, prayed, and gave thanks. I organized my schedule, dreamed of trips, and thought about the future like someone building a new house. Brick by brick, everything in its place. Until one day, it felt like someone grabbed that house and sent a storm straight through it. It didn't happen all at once. It came in bits of news. A strange call from the bank. A message from the doctor. We need to talk in person. Someone in the family suddenly acting different. Friends who used to be always around started answering with silence. I didn't lose oxen and camels like Job did, but I lost things that, for me, were worth just as much. I lost my peace. I lost sleep. I lost opportunities I thought were answers to prayer. I lost people I swore would stay until the end, and that's when the most painful part began. It wasn't just what I lost. It was what I had to hear. If God was with you, this wouldn't be happening. You must have done something wrong. A real believer doesn't go through stuff like this. Maybe God is punishing you. Some didn't say it with words, but they said it with their eyes. With their distance, with a lack of empathy. There were days I sat on my bed, stared at the ceiling, and whispered, God, I don't understand anything. I tried to do everything right. At least I tried. Why does it feel like heaven shut down right now of all times? And for a while, what I got back wasn't a miracle, wasn't a clear answer, wasn't an audible voice. It was silence. The same silence Job faced. He looked at everything he had lost, and didn't get an explanation. Just the echo of questions inside his own head. I felt exactly like that. I prayed, and it seemed like my prayer hit the ceiling and fell back down. I read promises and thought, okay, God, I believe. But why doesn't my reality match what I'm reading? And to make it worse, there was the comparison. My timeline full of people winning, posting achievements, testimonies of open doors, while all I could count were the doors that were closing. When I understood a part of Job's story that almost no one likes to talk about. Job wasn't a hero without pain. He was a broken man who decided not to break with God, even when he understood absolutely nothing. He did question things, yes. He lamented. He felt the weight. But in the middle of the chaos, he didn't trade God for a quick explanation. And that's what hurts in me, and maybe in you. We want the explanation now. The why now. The logic now. But God often works first in the place no one sees, on the inside. While everything was falling apart on the outside, he started touching things in me I didn't even know were crooked. Pride disguised as spirituality. Security based on my bank balance. Identity based on what I did, not on who he said I was. It was strange to realize that, even though I didn't like the pain, it started exposing what was hidden. I stopped only asking, God, why is this happening to me? And started asking, God, what do you want to work on in me while this is happening? Job didn't see the end of the story in the very next chapter. There was a process. There were dark days, there were tears, there was exhaustion. But there was one thing he did not let go of. The certainty that God was still God, even when life didn't feel like life. Today, looking at your reality, maybe you're in the chapter of loss, not restoration. Maybe you're in the chapter of questions, not answers. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. There's no shortcut. There's no magic phrase. There's no instant miracle recipe. What there is a God who didn't abandon Job in the ashes, and won't abandon you in this season either. Job's story doesn't end in destruction. It ends in restoration. With God revealing himself in such a deep way that Job himself confessed, before I had only heard about you, but now my eyes have seen you. Maybe that's what God is doing in the middle of your pain. Turning AIV, heard about you kind of faith, into a real, raw, honest encounter between you and him. So if everything feels confusing right now, hold on to this. Don't let go of God's hand just because you don't understand what he is doing. Sometimes he doesn't answer your questions because he is preparing you for an answer much bigger than what you're ready to ask for. If this story sounds a lot like yours, don't keep it just for yourself. There's someone out there, almost giving up, who needs to hear that there is still a God who restores broken stories. Share this video, and let me know in the comments how this message spoke to you. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more.